everybody, I'm Tobi Tungl with AVNation Media, coming to you live from InfoComm 2023 in wonderful, humid Florida. I have David here from Sennheiser. David, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
I see a ton of people behind us in the booth. They are running rampant.
Really
Day two's been good for you guys?
It's been fantastic. I mean, the whole show so far has been just like what you're seeing behind us.
I don't know what the numbers are yet, but it's been pretty amazing, pretty good from that perspective, right?
It's really great to see more people out now doing the shows.
It's what we want, right? We want
we're
people.
Seeing people, we're talking and having fun. I love it.
Yeah, and we're all here. We just need an espresso. We talked a little bit about that at some point after this. Keep us moving for the day, right? So let's dive right into it.
Sure.
New ceiling, well, not really new ceiling microphones, but the TeamConnect stuff here. Right. I love this thing. Right. It's fantastic. Sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
Walk me through here. You got the 2x2. You got the round one, which this is pretty slick, little sleek device as well. So.
Yeah. So the TCC2 out of the TeamConnect family, this is really what opened up the door for us into integration into meeting spaces and into classroom technology. And it's really become this world standard of ceiling mic technology with our beamforming technology. So we can pick up anybody in the room with a single beam, regardless of where they're speaking. So we took this and said, well, we need to handle some of the smaller rooms, some of the medium rooms. So we came up with the TCC-M, and that's what we're demonstrating at the booth here. It's the same type of technology, but a few less of the capsules in here, handling a little bit of a smaller area. But now you can really cover a smaller room if you need to, instead of having a larger one. And still using the beamforming technology. And it works fantastic. Same great sound that we have, isolates all the sound around you. And then through our control cockpit, you're actually able to include exclusion zones. So the beam only goes where you want it to be. It's such an easy way to set it up. So we're really happy with it so far.
Yeah, that exclusion zone piece is so important, right? Because you get an architect that's building a glass or a 3-wall glass room, right? Because it looks pretty, looks great. And then the acoustics in there are just, they're not horrendous, but they're not great. And be able to eliminate some of that bounce so the voice intelligibility is so much better, right?
Absolutely. We take those exclusion zones, we say, okay, we don't want to pick up all those reflections. Let's bring down the area where that beam's going to track within the space to a smaller area so we're not picking up all the reflections in the room. But we can also get really discreet and say there's a fan in the corner. I can just take that fan out or air transfer out so the beam never goes up there, right? And so in this way, we're just keeping the quality of the audio consistent throughout the whole room. We're not worried about the noise. We can pick up anybody else in the room. And the far side hears intelligible dialogue all the time on the far side. And they feel included in the meeting a lot better, right? Because you hear everybody very clearly.
Yeah, I mean, in video, right, is a part of it. But video can be a little choppy and people are okay with it. If the audio is not intelligible, it's not clear, people get frustrated and they give up on a video call, call all day long. Because if they can't feel like they can understand you and be engaging, like they're sitting across from you, whether they're down the street at the coffee shop or across the world in a conference room or at home, they're missing that whole point. And then at that point, that exclusivity or inclusivity is just really gone, right?
Yeah.
And we want that because we're a work from everywhere kind of or global economy at this point, right?
Totally.
So understanding that, the beamforming piece of it is so awesome because it allows you to get really narrow if you need to, really specific if you need to get on a table or a CEO head end to make sure that if people are eating chips in the backside, you don't want to pick that up.
And you mentioned the CEO, which is really interesting. We talk about the exclusion zones, but we also have where we can prioritize a zone. So that if you do have the CEO and you want to make sure that the beam doesn't track to anybody else but him, I can prioritize it. So even if someone else talks in the room, it's going to stay on him.
People are going to love that.
Right?
I love
So you can really make it the way you want it and who's it going to cover within the space very easily with our automatic beamforming, and then having the control cockpit to control that beam.
Ease of use, simplicity, consistent experience really most than anything, right?
So, has to be.
Awesome. So let's shift down a little bit. Real quickly here, we have the TeamConnect Intelligent Speaker.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that we can handle all the different situations in the meeting space. So in those really small huddle rooms where you don't need to have the ceiling mic, so this has a really fast TeamConnect Ceiling Intelligent Speaker. So this can actually work with an MTR room, so you can have that voice control and translation and so forth. But we really want to have a small solution where you don't need anything big like this. So now we have the TeamConnect Intelligent Speaker.
Love it. Just part of the full solution here.
Yeah, it's all part of the TeamConnect family.
Love it. All right. This is the new product, right? This is the brand new, super awesome thing. We were talking a little bit about before we went on camera. This was just released on Tuesday. I know there's a lot more features to it than we just talked about. So what do we got going on here?
Yeah, so we're increasing the TeamConnect family, right? We want to make sure that we're handling all the different situations and solutions that we need and making sure that everybody's inclusive in all these meeting spaces. So it just made sense for us to have our own TC bar for these type of solutions. And now, Sennheiser are known for quality in audio, of course, right? That's our specialty. And now you're going to see quality in camera and imagery from us as well. So this is the first time we're actually introducing a product that has a camera.
Is it really? I didn't realize that you guys never had a camera before.
Never. This is the first time.
So you got two different models here.
Yes.
Is there a distance limitation for them for your typical room size?
Yep. Yeah, we look at the Microsoft standards when you think of a meeting space, right? So we're talking about a small room, 10 by 15 foot or so, about 7 people, and then 15 to 20 feet for the medium here. So the TeamConnect small and TeamConnect medium bars are for those small to medium spaces, right? It's got a 4K camera on it.
5K? Did you just create something?
Yeah, I just created it. That's next. No, that's what, so it's a 4K camera, and then we have a stereo imagery in it, and then we have the same array technology that we talked about on our TeamConnect ceiling microphones in the bars as well, for picking up the people within the space.
So we talked a little bit about this. It also has a Dante connection piece on it. So for those not quite small enough rooms where you want to have, we just talked about it before, the CEO picked up on the far side, you can compare this with a TeamConnect ceiling microphone, right? And actually make it a full ecosystem. Maybe I'm not using the right terminology there.
Right.
So the thought process behind that is those smaller to medium-sized rooms that might need an extra piece at the end of the table or the corner over there. What was your guys' thought process going through that, making this Dante enabled? I'm sure there's way more to it, and I'm simplifying it certainly, but there's probably a good roadmap that you may not be able to share.
For us, it's also about scalability.
Yeah.
Right? You want to make sure that we got everything that you need for a very simple setup, which this can be with a USB into your laptop or your computer, and then you have your Zooms running or Microsoft Teams running. But if you do need to scale larger, we want to have Dante on there so that you can cover larger areas but with extension mics, so you can add a TCCM if you don't have the full coverage you need into the Dante port. And then the AEC of the bar will handle that extra mic coming in, and it'll decide which microphone you want to use depending on who's talking within the space. So you can expand how this is going to work and how much coverage are you going to have by having some of our other mics being added within the space coming in via Dante.
The simplicity of that is fantastic.
It's very simple, right? And then you can scale that within a Dante network. And then we also have our own control. It also works with our control cockpit software. So you can have management of these devices through our control software within the enterprise network. So go small,
my mind's just going crazy with this.
Or
go
large and go campus.
Well, and that's the beauty of that kind of ecosystem, right? You can add it in. You can add this different piece. The big thing that for me is it's small, it's sexy, it's something that's functional, it's easy to use, and if you do need to expand it, everybody's familiar with Dante. You throw it in the network, you start adding pieces to it, and then you're able to deploy more accelerated, more efficiently, right? Your technicians in the field, your programmers in the field are loving it because it's like, instead of trying to do a 3 or 4 or 5 hour program, it could be turn it on auto, 20 minutes later, everything's kind of running testing, right? And that, to me, that is a huge selling point. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a pretty sexy product.
And then I mentioned we're bringing an external mic in, but we can also send a Dante feed of the room out to our hearing assist mobile connect.
Oh yeah.
So in terms of inclusiveness, right, you can actually have a hearing assist connected to this via Dante, so you can also make sure that people that need that for the hearing impaired can listen to the conference.
And that sounds complicated, but it's really not.
Really
if you think of an application of a 10-person conference room, you put one of these on the wall, you may or may not have to put an additional ceiling mic on the far side. You can add assisted listening in there. You don't need a rack full of gear. You don't need all this craziness out there, right? And it's including everybody.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And it's simple is probably not the best word for it, but elegant and ease of use and consistent experience for anybody that walks into that space, I think is really top notch.
Right.
Awesome. Well, David, thank you very much for the time today.
My pleasure.
You guys continue to have a fantastic booth. It's absolutely gorgeous. I hope you have a really great rest of your show.
Thank you very much, Tobi. Appreciate it.
I'm Tobi Tungl with AVNation. If you want to hear more about what we're doing on the show floor, please go to avnation.tv.